This is the story of Ashley Fuller Reed, a vibrant, ambitious 19-year-old who vanished from the Dallas area more than 3 decades ago. The thread of her life, as it was known, unravels abruptly on a January evening in 1990. And what follows is a case of unanswered questions, theories, and decades of quiet hope. Tonight we retrace her steps, examine the known facts, consider possible leads, and reflect on what remains unknown in this enduring cold case. Ashley was born on November 6, 1970. By early 1990, she had recently moved from Minnesota to the Dallas region with her mother and younger brother. In October 1989, her mother accepted a new job opportunity in the Dallas area, prompting the relocation. Suddenly, Ashley found herself starting over. New surroundings, new routines, new friendships. She took a job at JoJo's restaurant in Addison, Texas, and began adjusting to life in a fresh locale. Her background in Minnesota had been strong. At Harding High School, she had been an honor student, involved in student council, the school newspaper, cheerleading, and civil rights committees. She had planned to continue into pre-law studies at the University of Minnesota, but the move interrupted those plans. The transition must have been both exciting and unsettling. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Ashley seemed hopeful. On January 13, 1990, she called her mother, excitedly telling her that a man named Robert had asked her on a date, a trip to Corsicana with friends. She described him as tall, handsome, with a cowboy demeanor. She intended to keep her promise to call her mother when she arrived if she followed through. On January 14th, she told family she planned to meet 2 men, known only to them as Robert and Dave, for dinner at an IHOP near the intersection of Interstate 635 and Military Parkway in Mesquite, near Dallas. She was to check in with her mother afterward, but that check-in never occurred. No one saw her again. This video will slowly piece together what is known from the events of that night, through the investigations, to the enduring mysteries and possible theories, and we will close with reflections on what might yet resolve this case. Let's begin. Ashley last saw her family in Garland, Texas. On January 14, 1990, she told them her dinner plans and expressed confidence in seeing them again. What she did not foresee was that evening would mark her disappearance. She drove a brown 1984 Chevrolet Citation, the vehicle in which she would effectively vanish. That evening she met or planned to meet Robert and Dave at the IHOP. These are the only names her family ever heard in relation to that meeting. No last names, no clear identity. The 2 men remain anonymous in the records. Key witness later reported seeing Ashley at the IHOP speaking with a man. He was described as Caucasian, around 6 feet tall, weighing between 175 and 200 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He wore a beige Western-style jacket with elbow patches, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat attire that reinforced the cowboy image Ashley had shared with her mother regarding Robert. The witness described him as neat and clean in appearance. That man has never been identified. The 2 men Ashley intended to meet were never traced. Sometime during or after dinner, Ashley's car was driven away. The next morning, on January 15th, her vehicle was located on a ramp of Interstate 635 at Military Parkway. In Mesquite, not far from where she had intended to dine. The car was parked on the service road, its hazard lights blinking, battery dead. The driver's seat was pushed fully forward, consistent with how Ashley normally positioned it. But her purse and keys were missing. The car was inoperable without a battery charge. What compelled whoever was with her to abandon the car there? Why leave it on a ramp, hazard lights blinking? 2 fishermen later claimed to have discovered Ashley's purse in a water-filled gravel pit near the Trinity River and Boise D'Arc Road in southern Dallas County. They looked inside and saw papers bearing her name. They reported this to police. But when law enforcement arrived to retrieve the purse, it was nowhere to be found. Searches of the area, some with canine units, turned up nothing further in that location. It's a curious and haunting detail, an object clearly significant to her disappearance that vanished before it could be collected. Whether it was moved deliberately or obstacles prevented retrieval, that remains uncertain. At the time, investigators treated her disappearance as suspicious and have long assumed foul play. Her case was categorized as endangered missing, foul play suspected. Over time, leads have dwindled. No arrests have ever been made, no suspects publicly named, and no conclusive evidence has led the case into the clear. Investigative pointers over the years have focused on those two men, Robert and Dave, and that cowboy-type individual seen at the IHAP, but none have ever been identified. Some theories propose that Robert and Dave may have been acquaintances from work, neighbors or local patrons she had met in the Dallas area. Some speculate they may have lured her under false pretenses. Other theories consider alternative paths, that the car may have broken down. She or her companions attempted to seek help. Then something went wrong. Perhaps the man she was speaking with followed her from the restaurant. Perhaps the meeting was a ruse. The presence of those unknown men looms as the greatest mystery. Some researchers have drawn connections to other crimes. Notably, in that same gravel pit area 2 years later, the body of Melissa Northrup was found. That crime became part of the infamous portfolio of Texas mass murderer Kenneth McDuff. McDuff was executed in 1998. While he was never officially linked to Ashley's disappearance, speculative theorists have wondered whether there could be a connection. But law enforcement has not indicated an official tie. In the decades since 1990, the Dallas Police Department has carried this case as a cold file. In 2025, the city's cold case unit still lists the disappearance of Ashley Reed among its unresolved cases. The department has publicly appealed for new information, urging anyone with knowledge to contact their cold case unit. Phone and email contacts remain active. The agency's own internal blog, DPDBeat, still refers to the case, reminding the public that in January 2025, they continue to seek answers and may profile her case among other cold missing persons. As of now, no reward publicly posted is known to be widely published. The appeal rests largely on the hope that someone, somewhere, speaks up. Throughout the years, online investigators, amateur sleuths, and true crime communities have examined every detail they could unearth: police reports, newspaper archives, court dockets, even personal recollections from friends and former coworkers. Some people claim to have worked with her at JoJo's and to recall her talking to men, going out meeting coworkers. Some suggested possible identities for Robert or Dave, but nothing that is held up under confirmation. A few details stand out in the physical description of Ashley. She was about 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing approximately 115 pounds. She had brown eyes and curly brown hair. She had pierced ears and a small brown mole on the lower left cheek, a mark that could help in identification. That night, she was wearing a stonewashed denim skirt, a long-sleeved black top, a waist-length brown bomber jacket, a Guess brand watch, gold hoop earrings, and 2 gold rings. Her nickname was Ash. Her family and supporters have maintained hope, even as years passed. Her disappearance left an emptiness in the lives of those who knew her best. They have pleaded for closure, for truth, for someone with knowledge, no matter how small, to step forward. Despite all the years, no definitive breakthrough has been announced publicly. The identities of Robert and Dave remain unknown. The purse, which had seemed a key piece of evidence, vanished. The car was left behind, abandoned. The only other visual clue is the witness sketch of the man at IHOP, which remains an image in old case files. Over time, new investigative techniques, cold case units, DNA advances, and public appeals have solved many cases once thought permanently frozen. But Ashley's case has not yielded to such advancements, not yet. One question often arises: could Ashley still be alive? It is perhaps unlikely, given the amount of time passed, but that possibility cannot be categorically dismissed without proof. Many families of missing persons continue to hope, and many cases once cold have reawakened with fresh leads. In recent years, there has been renewed attention. News outlets occasionally publish cold case reminders. In 2025, local media in Dallas and Irving have noted that Dallas police still list her case as unresolved and continue to ask the public for help. The same phone number, same email contact, same case reference. Other than that, there are no known arrests, no confirmed suspects, and no reward posting that commands widespread awareness. This case remains a ghost of what might have been, the life of a young woman full of promise, lost in a night of mystery. At the end of the day, the story of Ashley Fuller Reed is a story held in silence. A young life interrupted, a meeting that never concluded. An empty seat at the dinner table that night, and the wreckage of a car left behind, her belongings missing. Decades have elapsed, leads have grown cold, the longing for answers remains. We have walked step by step through her last known evening, her move to Dallas, her phone call to her mother, her dinner plans. The meeting with two unknown men, the sighting at IHOP, the car location, the missing purse, and the futile searches. We have considered possible theories, that she was lured, that she faced foul play, that her fate might remain unknown. And we have recognized the enduring obstacles: lack of identification, lack of confirmed suspects, disappearance of key evidence. Yet hope persists. Investigative methods continue to advance. Cold case units remain vigilant. Public awareness can be renewed. Sometimes someone comes forward after decades. Sometimes a forgotten document yields a clue. Sometimes technology finds what human search has missed. If you have any information about this case, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, that might shed light on her disappearance, reach out to the Dallas Police Department Cold Case Unit, reference case number 032732Y. If you were in the area at the time, saw something, remember conversations or names tied to Robert or Dave, or encountered anything unusual, your memory could be crucial. Ashley's story is not just a case file. It is a life paused, a family forever waiting, a name that deserves to be heard, understood, and honored. May her disappearance one day yield resolution, and may justice, in whatever form it takes, find her. Thank you for watching Fatal Secrets of True Crime. Subscribe for more stories like this: real crimes, hidden truths, and the secrets they tried to bury. Your support helps keep these stories alive, and the pressure on for answers. Till next time, remember, every secret eventually comes to light.